Raphael
Thank
Carter.
you.
Hello. Please mute your phones and turn your attention to the public safety announcement. In the event of an emergency at NJ Transit, your safety is our top priority. Please follow these important instructions. In case of an emergency, announcements will be made over the loudspeaker or by a uniformed police officer. If necessary, CPR will be administered using the defibrillator. Please do not approach the dais. Documents can be presented to staff at the entrance to the boardroom. Please follow the directions of NJ Transit Police and staff. Thank you, and have a safe day.
Good morning. The December 2nd, 2025 Operations and Customer Service Committee will now begin. I will now take roll call. Board Member Cruz.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Board Member McCray.
Here, good morning.
Good morning. Board Member Nara.
Here.
Board
Good
Member.
morning.
Good morning. Board Member Thomas.
Good morning.
Good morning. For the record, all board members and President and CEO Kalori are participating remotely. Next is public comments. There are no in-person speakers and one pre-registered telephone speakers. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Priority access will be given to pre-registered telephone participants who are queued to speak. Those participating by telephone, if you've not already done so, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad to enter the queue to speak. You will hear a brief tone to indicate you have successfully entered the queue. Operator, please open the floor to public comments by telephone participants.
Thank you. As a reminder, if you have not already done so, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad to enter the queue to speak. You will hear a brief tone to indicate you have successfully entered the queue. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes for their public comment. A warning will be provided with 1 minute remaining, and again with 15 seconds remaining. And there were 2 speakers in queue. Your first public comment is coming from Adam Reich. Adam, your line is live and your time will now begin.
Good morning. First of all, it would be great to have an update on mean distance between failure by rail equipment type. I noticed there are a lot of shorter trains operating around the system. I was shocked to see last week, for example, a 4-car Northeast Corridor line train and revenue service in Trenton. I know my train this morning had 5 cars instead of the usual 6 to 8. This is data we used to get quarterly. I'd ask the board to push rail operations and the other operating divisions to give us detailed breakdowns by equipment type, at least quarterly. Riders at least deserve the level of transparency they once enjoyed. If staff could do that before, there's no reason why they can't provide that level of transparency again. Next, I'd like to point out again that the closed car situation on trains is a concern, especially this time of year. It is peak season for respiratory viruses like flu, COVID-19, and RSV. Needlessly packing riders into fewer than all cars means the air quality in each car will be lessened because you've got it more densely packed and the air filtration and ventilation systems have a finite capacity. I would urge New Jersey Transit, at least during peak periods, not just for peak trains, but reverse peak trains, to have every car open for public health and safety considerations. Next, I'm a little concerned about what's been happening with ScatterTech, the Senior Citizens and Disabled Residents Transportation Advisory Committee. And particularly, there seems to be a lot of tension stemming from New Jersey Transit staff efforts to curb the purview of the committee. I just stress that disability issues don't just impact county routes. They impact every service, whether it's fixed rail, fixed bus, light rail, and otherwise. So ensuring that committee, A,
1 minute
has
remaining.
a broad purview is critical, but B, that members are able to freely speak and engage with the agency is absolutely critical. And I'm concerned that there's some efforts to kind of curb this. I'd also like to point out that at the last board meeting, Mr. Kalori was dismissive of my use of the term retaliatory in connection with this and other things. I'd like to point out that I've repeatedly raised the issue of New Jersey Transit staff taking action I considered retaliatory, pressuring Railway Historical Society groups over my criticism of Mr. Kalori's predecessor, Mr. Corbett, when it came to mask cars and advocating for that. Mr. Kalori, if you're going to make a judgment on that, maybe actually investigate the claims. Don't simply dismiss my use of the word retaliatory when you're not willing to look into it. It certainly gives the appearance that either A, you condone the behavior, or B, that you just don't care. Either way, it's not a good look. Certainly if we've raised the issue, and I stress I'm calling in personal time in a personal capacity, that if it's important for me to do so, it's important that your employees similarly be held to a standard not to abuse their influence, especially during public times. Thank you.
Thank you. The next public comment will come from Andy Weiss. Andy, your line is live and your time will now begin.
Good morning. The NJ Transit customer advocate has been hidden by the NJ Transit corporate office and is a puppet for the NJ Transit board. The customer advocate only participates at the sparsely attended board committee meetings like today to keep him hidden from the NJ Transit riders. They won't put him on the main board of directors committee meetings. They won't have him participate. The NJ Transit customer advocate is getting a reputation on social media for being invisible and useless and is not solving problems. Only 5% of NJ Transit riders, in my estimate, know he exists because the NJ Transit board and corporate office has hidden his visibility. They've shadow banned him. NJ.com wrote a recent story about the customer advocate and reported that nobody knew the customer advocate existed on November 6th when they asked riders at Hoboken Terminal. I have also asked NJ Transit riders on the bus system, waiting at bus stops, and nobody knew that the customer advocate exists. The NJ Transit corporate office refuses to install physical infrastructure like signs and posters at stations and transit vehicles to advertise the customer advocate. Physical infrastructure like signs and posters are the only way to massively expand the customer advocate's visibility. There is no substitute for physical infrastructure for an advertising campaign for the customer advocate. Again, there is no substitute for physical infrastructure for an advertisement campaign for the customer advocate. The NJ Transit board and NJ Transit corporate office think NJ Transit riders and the media are stupid. You think we're all stupid. The NJ Transit corporate office is a scam culture. It's a scam culture who always try to deceive the public. Install signs and posters for the customer advocate all over the NJ Transit system now. Install signs and posters for the customer advocate all over the transit system now. Stop the scam culture at the NJ Transit corporate office. You're not fooling anybody. Stop hiding the NJ Transit customer advocate because nobody knows he exists, and make him participate at main board meetings, the main board of director meetings. The customer advocate also needs to create an online calendar to alert NJ Transit riders about his movements, about his future movements, about his future things that he's going to be doing in the system. Again, finally, nothing substitutes for physical signs. Nothing substitutes for physical signs and posters to advertise the customer advocate on the NJ Transit system. Thank you.
Thank you. And there were no other public comments at this time.
Thank you, public speakers. Do any board members have any questions or comments? Okay. The first staff report is the Operations and Customer Service Update. Anthony Greco.
Thank you, Megan, and good morning, board members and members of the public joining us today. We'll be presenting the October Operations and Customer Service Committee report this morning. Deanna Sumner from my team, who heads up customer service, will moderate and provide the customer service updates. And the heads from each of the operating divisions will report out on their respective areas. So with that, I'd ask everyone to turn to the next page, and I'll turn it over to Jim Sincaglia, Senior Vice President and General Manager of Rail Operations, to begin with the rail report. Jim?
Thank you, Anthony. We'll start with on-time performance. As you can see from the top left chart, when factoring in all causes, overall on-time performance was 89.8% in October, down from 92.1% in September. When adjusted to remove the impact of Amtrak-related causes, October on-time performance increases to 92.2%, just down from 93.7% in September. You can also note increases in on-time performance for individual rail lines, such as the Northeast Corridor, which improves by 5% from 88.3% to 93.3%. Moving to the next slide. This chart provides an added illustration of on-time performance as well as MDBF over time, and also includes an on-time performance graph that is adjusted for Amtrak-related impacts. Mean distance between failure was 49,329 miles in October, down slightly from 49,806 miles in September. Moving to the next slide. In October, there were 430 total cancellations, representing 2.3% of the 18,964 total trips. There were 110 cancellations due to mechanical causes, down 11% from 124 mechanical cancellations in September. Approximately 30% of cancellations were due to unpreventable causes, which can include downed trees, flooding, other inclement weather, external utility and power failures, medical emergencies, local police activity, as well as trespasser incidents. Moving to the next slide. Moving to October rail performance by terminal and time. New York Penn Station trains reported overall on-time performance of 86.3% in October, down from 87.5% in September. Hoboken Terminal trains reported overall on-time performance of 94%, down from 95.9% in September. System-wide peak period train on-time performance was 86.3% in October, down from 90.2%. Off-peak on-time performance was 91%, down from 93.4%. And weekend on-time performance was 92.4%, which is up from 91.3% in September. Moving to the next slide for trip annulled canceled. In October, the North Division garnered the majority of train cancellation feedback. On October 5th and October 18th, locomotive engineer absences on the North Jersey coastline and Raritan Valley line caused a number of cancellations. On October 12th and October 13th, North Jersey coastline service between Long Branch and Bayhead, as well as Atlantic City line rail service between Atlantic City and Philadelphia 30th Street, was suspended due to the expected inclement weather. On October 16th, coastline service was suspended in both directions between Bayhead and Long Branch due to a trespasser strike near Manasquan. On October 18th, Morrison Essex was suspended between Dover and Morristown due to downed trees near Denville. And on October 30th, North Jersey coastline service in both directions between South Amboy and Broadway was suspended due to a downed tree in the overhead wires near Woodbridge, and for actions taken, they're noted at the bottom of the slide. For trip delayed, on October 1st, the Morristown line and Montclair Booton line experienced delays due to single tracking between Millburn and Summit, due to an earlier slow-speed non-passenger work train derailment at Summit Station in late September. On October 18th, a boat struck the Morgan Drawbridge, causing delays on the North Jersey coastline. On October 20th, Conrail signal issues caused delays on the Raritan Valley line. On October 30th, flood waters near Newark Airport Station caused delays on the Northeast Corridor, and the actions taken are noted at the bottom of the slide. Moving to the next slide, I'll turn it over to Deanna.
Thank you, Jim. New Jersey Transit took an important step forward in its fleet modernization efforts as the Board of Directors authorized $917 million to overhaul the agency's 429 multi-level rail cars. The investment extends the lifespan and performance of the existing fleet, which is approaching 20 years old, while also ensuring full compatibility and interoperability with the 374 new third-generation multi-level 3 cars currently on order. This action is aligned Governor Murphy's and President and CEO Kalari's commitment to a fully modernized fleet by 2031. Moving to the next slide. New Jersey Transit leveraged social media to share news about the completion of exterior renovations at the Mahwah Station and in support of the recent launch of New Jersey Transit's land plan. We announced an opportunity for an anchor tenant to help shape the next chapter of the restoration of the 117-year-old Lackawanna Ferry Terminal on the first and second floors of the historic Hoboken Terminal, a key component of the larger Hoboken Connect redevelopment project. The 50,000 square feet of available space within the terminal is being carefully restored and reimagined as a modern destination capable of hosting marquee events and a variety of other uses. This effort preserves the terminal's historic character while transforming it into a vibrant, contemporary hub for the community. Moving to the next slide, I will turn it over to Mike Kilcoyne for the bus report.
Thank you, Deanna. Looking at the bus charts, overall on-time performance in October was 89.1%, down from 90.2% in September, and it's just shy of our goal of 90%. On-time performance for our major terminals in October is as follows. Port Authority bus terminals on-time performance was 87.6% in October compared to 89.8% in September. Hoboken terminals on-time performance was 87.9% compared to 89.8%. Atlantic City's on-time performance was slightly down at 96.8% compared to 97.4% in September. Newark Penn Station on-time performance rose to 90.4% in October compared to 87.6% in September. Walter Rand Transportation Center's on-time performance was 88.3%, down from 89.2% in September. Irvington Bus Terminal's on-time performance was 89.1%, up from 88.4% in September. Moving to the next slide. Trip no-show comments were primarily regarding operator availability issues, which were spread evenly across all divisions. Actions taken are noted on the slide. Trip delayed feedback was related to heavy traffic, ridership, accidents, motor vehicle incidents, inclement weather, detours, road closures, road construction, mechanical issues, and police activity, which adversely impacted service in northern and central divisions. Incidents affecting service in and out of the Port Authority bus terminal. On October 2nd, a bus fire on the New Jersey Turnpike caused delays. On October 3rd, a motor vehicle accident on Route 495 West and Route 3 contributed to delays. On October 9th and 10th, heavy inbound traffic both days and a Giants game at MetLife Stadium on the 10th caused delays. On October 16th and 17th, heavy New Jersey Turnpike traffic, congestion, and a motor vehicle accident caused delays. On the 20th through the 24th, heavy traffic and a car fire on the 20th on the New Jersey Turnpike and on Route 495 caused delays. On October 29th, an overweight bus on the inbound ramp to the Port Authority bus terminal and a motor vehicle accident on the New Jersey Turnpike caused delays. On October 30th and 31st, Tropical Storm Melissa caused up to 1 hour delays, road flooding, and heavy traffic. Newark Penn Station impacts. On October 7th and the 16th, mechanical issues, construction with road closures, and detours affected multiple lines, and utility repairs caused heavy delays. Actions taken are noted at the bottom of the slide. Moving to the next slide, I will turn it over to Steve Vesarina, Deputy Chief of Light Rail Operations.
Thank you, Michael. Overall, light rail on-time performance was 91.3% in October, down from 96.3% in September. By line, on-time performance for October, Hudson Bergen Light Rail on-time performance was 86.1% in October, down from 98.2% in September. Newark Light Rail on-time performance was 99.3% in October, down slightly from 99.7% in September. Riverline on-time performance was 88.6%, down from 90.9% in September. Light rail equipment reliability measured as mean distance between failure, or MDBF, is as follows. Newark Light Rail MDBF was 4,660 miles compared to 4,955 miles. Riverline MDBF was 2,496 miles compared to 2,377 miles. And Hudson Bergen Light Rail MDBF was 13,190 miles, down from 13,401 miles. Moving to the next slide. Trip delayed feedback, mostly centered around Hudson Bergen Light Rail service. For the Hudson Bergen, we experienced an uptick in door-related failures throughout the month, largely caused by customer interference during heavy peak period boardings at Liberty State Park. On October 30th, track debris, which required cleanup, caused delays and truck driving on the tracks at Westside Avenue caused switch failures on the tracks, which led to single track operation, leading to several late trips. Actions taken are noted on the slide. For trips annulled and canceled, feedback received was regarding suspended service between Cass Street and Roebling stations on the Riverline due to trespasser fatality near the Bordentown station on October 8th. We also experienced cancellations due to light rail vehicle availability on the Riverline, door problems, and other mechanical issues. Actions taken are noted at the bottom of the slide. Moving to the next slide, I will turn it back over to Deanna.
Thank you, Stephen. This month, we posted alerting customers about upcoming schedule changes on the HBLR due to the Jersey City Marathon. We also issued posts on the Riverline about supplemental bus service between Trenton and Bordentown due to track outage. Lastly, we posted about the resurfacing of the crossing at Orange Street Station. Improvements like this are part of New Jersey Transit's commitment to maintain reliable and efficient infrastructure throughout the state. Moving to the next slide, I will turn it over to Namika Parker for the Access Link report.
Thank you, Deanna. Access Link on-time performance was 95.3% in October, up from 93.2% in September. We served 152,178 total riders in October. The total number of cases for October was 121. The top issues generating feedback were service delays with 64 and scheduled service with 15. We received 196 commendations for the month of October, with 116 of them for our Access Link Operations Center staff. An example of a commendation we received includes M. Australia. The customer called to commend certification representative Maria Smith, stating she would like to recognize and commend Maria Smith for her exceptional customer service and professionalism while assisting her with her Access Link application. From the beginning, she demonstrated patience, courtesy, and genuine commitment to helping her navigate the process. She took the time to explain each step clearly, answered all the questions thoroughly, and ensured that things were handled efficiently. Her positive attitude and attention to detail made what could have been a stressful experience smooth and pleasant. It is rare to encounter someone so dedicated to providing excellent service, and her support truly stood out. Moving to the next slide, please. The highest area of concern was regarding vehicles arriving after the expiration of customers' 30-minute window. Delays were attributed to a number of factors, including, but not limited to, traffic, operators being lost or having difficulty finding a location. All preventable occurrences were addressed with the responsible parties. We will continue to monitor and work with our service providers to ensure there is proper oversight of tours and they are being as proactive as possible to minimize delays and customer inconvenience. For instances of navigation or GPS issues, the system was updated with details to mitigate additional occurrences. Actions taken are noted on the slide. Scheduled service concerns were regarding reservation errors. Some of the errors found included rides booked for the wrong date and time, the wrong vehicle type selected, and the wrong trip type, among others. All errors were addressed with their corresponding agents. We will continue the quality assurance efforts to monitor in-house staff, minimizing errors, and reducing customer inconvenience. Again, the actions taken are noted on the bottom of the slide. Moving to the next slide. This October, Access Link staff attended the National Federation of the Blind of New Jersey State Convention, the largest gathering of blind individuals in the state and the premier event for training, support, and information within the blind community. While there, staff connected with current riders and engaged with potential new riders, sharing information about Access Link services and answering questions to ensure attendees understood how the service can support their mobility and independence. Moving to the next slide. Social media is a critical component of our Access Link communications. In October, we posted to remind customers to attend virtual meet and greet with representatives from Userve, a transportation partner with Access Link. We also posted to remind Access Link customers that smoking is strictly prohibited in New Jersey Transit vehicles, on platforms, and New Jersey Transit properties. Moving to the next slide, I'll turn it back over to Deanna.
Thank you, Namika. Customer service received 40,450 calls in October. The 13-month rolling average was 39,548 calls. The average speed of answer for the Transit Information Center was 15 seconds, exceeding our goal of 30 seconds. The agents answered 95% of the calls in October. Moving to the next slide. New Jersey Transit received 190 commendations system-wide for October. I will read one to highlight the positive impact our staff has on the individual customer experience, in this case, a bus customer. The new model bus number 25230 is really nice. I especially like how low the front portion of the cabin is, so it's easier to get on and off. It also makes the cabin feel more spacious. The ride seems smoother too. Thank you, New Jersey Transit. Moving to the next slide. On November 13th, President and CEO Kalari, Senior Vice President of Surface Transit Mike Kilcoyne, Chief Trissillo and SVP and Chief Safety Officer attended a second town hall focused on Riverline service hosted by Senator Troy Singleton in Palmyra, where we updated the community on the improvements made in the last year, including enhanced safety, security, and communications, improved reliability, and progress in transitioning from a contracted operator model to in-house oversight. New Jersey Transit remains committed to continuous improvements on the Riverline. Moving to the next slide. On this page, we'll review social media reach and engagement. In October, New Jersey Transit social media messages were seen over 3 million times, which generated over 160,000 engagements and more than 25,000 visits to njtransit.com. During the month of October, the social media team sent 5,179 messages. This number represents a combination of informational posts and responses to customer inquiries. Moving to the next slide. Our New Jersey Transit Police Department continued its strong social media presence. The New Jersey Transit Police Department issued posts on the recent class of graduates joining the NJTPD. Additionally, Chief Trissillo recently swore in Dawson Palmarini as an honorary New Jersey Transit police officer. After surviving a near-fatal 2029 motorcycle accident, Dawson has dedicated himself to thanking first responders and is now pursuing a world record by becoming an honorary member of the most police departments nationwide. Now I would like to turn it over to Chief Trissillo for an update on NJTPD initiatives.
Thank you, Deanna. As the weather begins to get cold, we really want to make sure we're increasing our outreach efforts across the state in our facilities. In the past month of November, outreach officers encountered 624 at-risk individuals, and 228 of those individuals accepted some type of social service from our outreach officers. We continue to participate in the Attorney General's Arrive Together program to assist people with mental health issues. And in our Penn Station Command, we had 20 encounters, and 6 of those 20 resulted in somebody voluntarily asking for mental health assistance. Narcan, I'm happy to report the deployment of Narcan decreased in November. We deployed Narcan 10 times, saving 10 lives. Year to date, 189. But I noticed this morning that last night, we had 2 more deployments. So year to date, we're at 191. And then we understand that our customers feel very strongly about smoking. And this month of November, our officers issued 80 summonses for smoking offenses. And year to date, officers have issued 596 summonses for smoking. And Deanna, that's my report.
Thank you, Chief. Moving to the next slide. And we'll close with a slide that illustrates the press releases we issued during the month. And Megan, that concludes the Operations and Customer Service report.
Thank you. Do any board members have any questions or comments?
Megan, I do. I just wanted to go back to light rail. And I'm sorry, I was taking notes, but I got slightly distracted. That was quite a drop in on-time performance for which line? Was that Hudson Bergen or Newark light rail?
That was the Hudson Bergen line, and that is a result.
Yeah.
That is a result of the transition to the new vendor and the 2 different systems that they're using. That is a manual application. That number isn't strictly accurate, but it's the number that we were able to derive from the system. Last night, for instance, the HBLR had a 97% on-time performance. We're relatively certain that those numbers are not strictly accurate, but are the result of 2 systems that are in play as a transition over to the single system with the new vendor.
I recalled some information like that, and I just wanted that to be clarified because it kind of seemed stark during the presentation. And so thanks for putting out that information. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Because I think anyone listening to this meeting needs to really be aware of what that number really means. And I wanted to just give a shout out because the Access Link numbers were so good this last month, and I know we oftentimes have a lot of complaints about Access Link. So it was great to see the uptick in performance. And Chief Tristillo, you know, I am such a fan of the Arrive Together program, and I'm so happy with about the work that NJPD is doing, and I hope everybody continues to benefit from the training that you are providing the officers and the performance there. So thank you all, and if I don't get a chance, I'm going to wish everyone a happy holiday.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Okay. Next is the next staff report is the Customer Advocate Update. Frank Bowman.
Thank you, Megan. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to start by the comments collected via the Customer Advocate form online. On the slide, you will find a summary of the main topics raised. And I would like to highlight, as usual, a few examples to show how customer feedback is shared, escalated, and when possible, turned into action. First one is the concern about accessible parking at Morris Plains Station. This was discussed with the real estate team and the Office of Civil Rights. So we are now reviewing adjustment to the parking lot layout to add accessible spaces closer to the inbound platform. Also got complaints about overcrowding and confusion at North Bergen Park and Ride. The reports mostly indicate some tourists being confused about the way to purchase a ticket and get on the bus. So we are strengthening on-site supervision to assist with boarding and exploring options to ensure tourists from the hotel in the area receive the proper information even before getting to the park and ride. Also got a gutter issue in Montclair State. Customer reported leakings from the drain directly over the south stairwell onto the stairs and platform. The gutters have been cleaned, and the station team is looking to upgrading options to prevent future leakage. Next slide, please. Then here we have my social media report that now includes feedback from both X, formerly Twitter, and Blue Sky. As for the online form, relevant feedback continues to be escalated to the appropriate teams to identify and implement corrective actions when it's possible. For example, saw a little increase in reports of locked waiting rooms and malfunction heaters at train station, and obviously this is consequence of temperature, the first temperature drops this year. I visited recently some of these stations and reported each issue to the engineering team, and I can say that corrective actions are underway on many of them, including heaters replacement at Metro Park. I also received reports of discrepancies between HBLR departure times displayed on LED signs and those shown in the My Light Rail app. So this is an ongoing issue, but there is no immediate fix. However, I wanted to reassure customers that both the IT and Light Rail teams are actively working on a solution, keeping me informed on the progress. So I appreciate that. Next slide, please. I will go through a quick review of customer concern metrics by mode. After the challenging back-to-school period in September, almost experienced a slight decrease in concern per 10,000 passengers, with a few caveats. First, with rail, the number of concern per 10,000 riders decreased compared to September 2024, and was actually in line with the rate recorded during the same period last year. Most lines benefited from this improvement. However, the North Jersey coastline concern ratio remained pretty high due to a high number of delay and cancellation-related concerns. And the Atlantic City line recorded an increase in concerns per passenger, driven primarily by a rise in cancellation complaints. Most other concern categories also declined, including overcrowding and closed car complaints, highlighting the rail team's effort to improve compliance, particularly during peak hour service. Next slide, please. Light rail concern per 10,000 riders went down in October as well, tracking just under the annual target. However, the River Line recorded a notable increase in concerns, driven primarily by a rise in cancellation-related complaints. From a topic perspective, passenger information concern declined. On the other hand, station cleanliness and condition increased. This continued to be a recurring issue, specifically on the Newark Light Rail, due in part to ongoing accessibility challenges at Newark Penn Station, as well as a monthly uptick in concerns related to the cleanliness of escalators and elevators at that station. Next slide, please. October was also a little stronger performance month for bus service, with a significant decline in concern per passenger compared to October 2024, although the rate remains above the annual target. The improvement was seen across all divisions. However, service-related concerns remain elevated, particularly in the Southern Division. In addition to the decline in service-related and employee performance concerns, I would like to highlight the progress made regarding bus cleanliness and condition, which really reflects the continued efforts and focus on the bus team in this area. Next slide, please. AccessLink recorded a 25% decrease in concerns per 10,000 riders in October compared to September. We also saw notable performance improvement, especially in Region 6, that were highlighted in the last committee meeting. While service-related concerns remain above the 12-month average, concerns related to NJ Transit employees and service providers improved significantly. Fare-related issues also fell below the 12-month average, which I know is an encouraging number as the team continues to promote the adoption of the Easy Wallet. Next slide, please. On October 21st, the operational teams and I met with the customers at 30th Street Station in Philadelphia. It was a great opportunity to discuss on-time performance and other aspects of the passenger experience, especially on trains and buses. This slide provides a summary of the feedback we collected. Note that obviously all comments were shared with the appropriate teams as well. We got concerns about equipment reliability and overall condition, requests for higher service frequency on both rail and bus services. We got conductors praised for being helpful and friendly. However, more onboard announcements are requested during disruptions. Lack of customer information and assistance at 30th Street Station. Amtrak agents are also often overwhelmed during disruptions on the customer service side. And finally, a desire for additional discounted fare options and a simpler fare structure overall. The next listening forum will be at Secaucus Junction in December. This will be announced very soon on social media and on the website. Next slide, please. I'd like to share a couple of key areas of focus for October and the following months, actually. First, based on the feedback collected during the listening forum in Philadelphia regarding the lack of assistance at 30th Street Station, I am working with the marketing team and operational teams to improve the information available to customers. So we are developing a 30th Street Station short rider's guide, which will be available both online and at the station. The guide will support customers and Amtrak support, and will include a simple area map to highlight connection between trains and bus services, as well as alternative transit option in the event of Atlantic City Line service disruptions. In the meantime, we are also exploring ways to improve coordination between NJ Transit and the Amtrak customer service team at the information booth in particular, during disruption specifically. And there were already a few meetings happening, and there's a strong will on both sides to improve the experience at the station. The second point I want to mention is about the River Line, and it was already mentioned, but at the recent public meeting hosted by Senator Troy Singleton, we heard directly from many River Line customers. And in addition to calls for improved service reliability, customers also asked for strong safety measures and better passenger information. So first, I wanted to commend the NJ Transit teams for the action already taken to improve the customer experience at the River Line, and I fully support efforts to increase awareness of both the app's departure feature, although I still think there's some work to ensure the information provided is more accurate, and also the Transit Police Tips program. I also believe there is an opportunity to address some remaining gaps, and I encourage the team to include me as much as possible in the transition phase, as I strongly believe we have a unique opportunity to redefine and elevate experience standards on the River Line. And that's all for this month, Megan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Board members, just say something, Frank does not work for me, so these comments are objective. He works for you. I've now had a chance to work with Frank for over 10 months. Not only is he all over the system, his interactions with the customers are real, they are relevant, and they are meaningful. And more importantly, I can tell you completely transparently that I don't agree with everything he says, and that's a good thing. And neither does some of my staff, and that's a good thing. But the goal here is of a public advocate's job is to give you and give the customers a voice so we can fix problems as appropriate. That is the role I know Frank is doing. He has been on our website for over 300 days, so I don't know what this chatter is all about. I see him at every train station. I see him when we have town hall meetings. He has his own town hall meetings. He has his own social media platform that he engages customers. So this idea that Frank is somehow invisible to the riders is not only a myth. I think it is something that needs to be fact-checked, and I'm telling you, as someone who has observed his work, he is exactly what this agency needs, and he's doing a good job.
Thank you. Any additional comments?
I just have one question for Frank. If you go back to the slide you had about the Philadelphia Listening Forum for a second, I mean, or you can just, I'm sure you're familiar with it really, but there's a piece that's, I forgot what we call them. Nope, the one before this, Frank.
Yep.
Okay, so the We Are Listening thing, and it's got a, you can scan that barcode, and when someone scans that barcode, where does all that information lead them to? What does that lead them to?
So during listening forums, we offer customers 3 different ways to share their feedback. Obviously, we are directly on site, so we can talk to them.
Yep.
But they can also, we also have an iPad. If they don't want to talk to us, they can just put their comments on the iPad, you can see on the picture. Or you're right,
Yep.
they can scan the QR code that will link directly to My Customer Advocate online form.
Okay, so I just, I know that you have these, and so pretty much everybody can get directly to you if they just scan it and keep it and want to deal with issues later, right?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Okay, next is the cost of service update. Jacqueline Stanford.
Thank you, Megan. This slide presents key performance indicators related to our cost of service, specifically farebox revenue per passenger, subsidy per passenger, cost per passenger, total cost of service, and farebox recovery rates. In October, across all modes and on an average per passenger basis, we recognized revenues of approximately $4.15 on costs of $13.54 for a recovery ratio of 31%. Per passenger subsidies of between $4.12 and $9.79 were required for bus, rail, and light rail service, with farebox recovery ratios of 40% for bus, 43% for rail, and 13% for light rail. Access Link's recovery ratio was 2%. Thank you. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Do any board members have any questions or comments? Okay, that concludes the agenda for the Operations and Customer Service Committee meeting. The Administration Committee meeting will begin at 10 a.m. Thank you for your participation. You may disconnect.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Hello, please mute your phones and turn your attention to the
Good morning. The December 2nd, 2025 Administration Committee meeting will now begin. I will now take roll call. Board Member Morocco. Oh, Board Member Morocco, can you hear us? You're muted if you can.
I'm sorry, I'm here, yes.
Okay. Board Member Caniff.
Here.
Board Member McCray.
Here.
Board Member Thomas.
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning. Board Member Weiss.
Here.
For the record, Board Members Morocco, McCray, Caniff, Thomas, and Weiss are participating remotely. Vice Chair Carson is absent. Next is public comments. There are no in-person speakers and no pre-registered telephone speakers. Operator, please open the floor for public comments by telephone participants.
Thank you. As a reminder, if you have not already done so, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad to enter the queue to speak. You will hear a brief tone to indicate you have successfully entered the queue. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes for their public comments. A warning will be provided with 1 minute remaining, and again with 15 seconds remaining. And there were no public comments at this time.
Thank you. The first staff report is the financial update. Jacqueline Stanford.
Thank you, Megan. I'm pleased to present New Jersey Transit's financial report representing the fourth period of fiscal year 2026. Additional information related to key performance indicators, vacancy trends, revenue and ridership, and profit and loss details not presented can be found in the appendix to this presentation. Page 1 of the report shows a summary of fiscal year-to-date operating results as of October. New Jersey Transit saw a net loss from operations of $71.4 million and realized a $3.3 million gain due to the timing of reimbursable project revenue for a total net income of negative $68 million. This compares to last year when we reported a $289.4 million loss from operations, drew $249.8 million of federal COVID relief funding, and had a $0.5 million net positive reimbursable project revenue for total net income of negative $39.1 million. Compared to budget, total operating revenues were unfavorable by $32.8 million, or 3.3%. Farebox revenue in October was $326.6 million, which was $4.4 million, or 1.3% less than budget, but $32.9 million, or 11.2% more than October of last year. Commercial revenue from various sources totaled $43.7 million in October, or $11.9 million less than budgeted. State operating assistance was $277.5 million in October, reflecting the monthly receipt of assistance scheduled to total $832.5 million in fiscal year 26. Funding from the New Jersey Turnpike Authority was $156.7 million, reflecting the monthly receipt of assistance scheduled to total $470 million in fiscal year 26. Lastly, other grants and assistance, consisting primarily of federal funding for preventive maintenance as well as clean energy funding, totaled $163.5 million, or $16.6 million less than budgeted. On the expense side, year-to-date total operating expenses were $38.6 million, or roughly 3.9% more than budget. This is largely due to a continuing low percentage of vacant positions, as well as increased use and cost of materials and supplies. Revenues and expenditures together resulted in net income from operations that was $68 million unfavorable to budget. On page 3 is a view of farebox revenues by mode over the past 12 months. The dashed line at the top of each graph is the budgeted revenue, while the solid line represents the actual revenue since November of 2024. Revenues through April of this year have followed budget trend but lagged in May and June. Revenues returned to 101.1% of budget in July and were 98% of budget in October. Rail and bus revenues were 101% and 93% of budget, with rail at 3% more and bus at 5% less than October of 2024. Page 4 highlights select major balance sheet items. New Jersey Transit's operating cash balance on October 31st was $54.5 million. There was a $55 million balance on our credit facility, and we had a long-term debt balance of $1.7 billion. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Do any board members have any questions or comments? Okay, the next step. Oh, yes.
Sorry, Megan. I just wanted to ask examples of things in the commercial revenue category and what explains the variance there?
Sorry. The primary variance in that account right now is the sale of the property with the EDA deal. We're waiting for some of those funds to come in.
Oh, got it.
So.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Are there any questions or other questions or comments on this report? Okay, the next staff report is the Human Resources Update. Jignasa Desai McCleary.
Good morning. Before reviewing October's hiring numbers, I'd like to highlight a few recent departmental initiatives. In the area of police recruiting, academy classes commenced at Passaic on October 27th and are scheduled for Essex on December 22nd and Hudson on December 29th. In the area of candidate outreach focused on bus, in October, outreach focused on bus operator hiring at Neptune. We coordinated November virtual info session with Monmouth County One Stop and joined the Bergen County Mini Transportation Job Fair. We launched a DMV advertising campaign for Neptune bus operators in November. Our October 29th Work with the Best virtual session drew 219 attendees with a 98% positive rating. Finally, HR participated in the Women in Transportation event at Newark Technical School, an important journey program. For our internships, our coveted New Jersey Transit internship program has initiated. We are anticipating the availability of about 60 positions. Summer positions go live January 2nd, 2026, and the program will run June 8th through August 14th, 2026. Any students interested in the internship program can email our internship team at njtSummerIntern@NewJerseyTransit.com. Finally, our employee engagement team delivered a dynamic lineup of events. We kicked off Breast Cancer Awareness Month, inviting all of our employees to wear pink on every Wednesday of October. We also connected with more than 500 employees, retirees, and their families at both the MMC Rail Family Day in Kearney and the Bus Rodeo in Howell. Later, over 100 employees participated in our Diwali celebration at Headquarters Gateway. We closed the month with the Fall Recharge Team Builder on October 29th. And then finally, employee engagement held our inaugural Value Impact Awards with 40 winners selected from nominees across the organization. That was a highly successful program. So these are our metrics, as you can see on the board. October saw an overall vacancy rate of 4.04%. Of those vacant positions, 89 were administration, 321 were in bus operations, 76 were in rail operations, 41 were in light rail and contract services. 137 new hires joined us in October, including key hires of 67 bus operators, 20 bus servicemen, 9 cleaners. In total, there were 25 promotions, 18 job reclassifications, 9 retirements, 76 other separations, 133 suspensions, and 7 discharges. During the season of giving, we wish everyone a happy holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any board members have any questions or comments? Okay, next is the Equal Employment Opportunity and Affirmative Action Update. Naeem Din.
Thank you and good morning. Starting with the highlights page, there were 20 open complaints at the end of October. Through visits to our facilities as well as through print and electronic media, we continue to reach out to our employees and disseminate information about our EEO policy, about our mission, and the role we play in the organization. Through October, 43 visits were conducted to our facilities. This includes visits to all rail lines, all major surface transit and bus, corporate, and police facilities. Through these facilities visits, our staff has met more than 795 managerial and non-managerial employees. We also continue to provide training on prevention of harassment and discrimination to new employees, including newly hired or promoted supervisors, participants in the assistant conductor training program, and locomotive engineer training program, as well as bus operators, mechanics, maintenance workers, police cadets, and administrative personnel. The existing employees are required to take online training at least once a year. The next slide shows the number of new complaints that were opened as well as those that were closed each month during the previous 12-month period. During October, our office opened 3 new complaint investigations and concluded 6 pending investigations. The next slide shows the number of complaint investigations that were previously opened and the status of those investigations as of the end of October. The next slide provides the basis for all complaints which were open at the end of October. The most frequently alleged basis for complaints were race discrimination, which was 16%, sex discrimination, 18%, and retaliation, 22%. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Board members, any questions or comments? Okay, that concludes the agenda for the Administration Committee meeting. Thank you for your participation. You may disconnect.
Thank you. Have a good day. Have a good day, Meg.
Is it? Yeah. Okay, no complaints on my part. Right, very